Hello everyone and welcome to this discussion on footprint calculations for industrial companies. My name is Aleksi and I will be the moderator on stage for the next 20 minutes. We are very excited to discuss how industries can better manage and measure their environmental impacts. Today's discussion also showcases the power of Nordic collaboration, as we have experts from both Finland and Sweden sharing their experiences and insights. Our host today is Markus Wendin. He is CEO of the Swedish Miljogiraff AB. He has arrived here yesterday from Gothenburg. Markus has been working for 20 years with Finnish and Swedish companies with environmental issues. And we have here also Pirkko Alander from Valmet, environmental analysis manager, and Aleksi Surakka, who is senior specialist in sustainability at Comatec. But now let's get started and move on to Markus, who will first give an introduction to the topic before our panel discussion.
Testing. Thank you very much, Larissa. It's super nice to be here and see so many interested people. Today I will talk about environmental impact assessment of life cycle of products together with Pirkko and Aleksi. And I will also talk about software that we provide here and have in our booth over here. Since 20 years back, I had my own company in doing life cycle assessments, and we also provide the software called CIMA Pro that comes from the Netherlands. And as you can see in the picture here, we have the software CIMA Pro for doing life cycle assessment, and it's in the core of many other tools that we integrate with. So that puts us in a good position here on the AI scene to talk about more how we can make different aspects of data collaborate with each other in a company. And Miljögiraff, the company I represent, is the exclusive distributor of CIMA Pro in Sweden and Finland. But CIMA Pro comes from the Netherlands, and it has spread throughout the world in 80 countries. And we are 25 companies as distributors worldwide. We have to mention some clients in Finland that we are very proud to work with. But we have been working here for 20 years, so it's actually a good bunch of companies. And we are very proud to work with all of them. And it's from all sides of society, in technical industry, but also from services. And we also work with most of the large universities in Finland. So a little bit about life cycle assessment. How many of you know anything about life cycle assessment from before? Raise a hand. Okay, everyone. Very good. Thanks a lot. So then you all know that LCA is a very strong and competent tool when working with environmental impact assessment. Because it's fact-based, it's transparent, it's robust, it's scientific, and it's driven by experts in life cycle assessment. But it has some drawbacks, and it's because it's very time-consuming to do a full-scale LCA, and the results are often static. So maybe you spend 1 year to produce a life cycle assessment, and then you have a result that is almost already old when you are ready with the results. So that's a drawback sometimes. And it's also difficult that the data for a life cycle assessment can be limited to the study as such and to different departments. And finally, we are not enough LCA experts out there globally. we need approximately to be 100 times more, I think. And actually, I heard a figure yesterday that we need to be 100,000 times more in 10 years. So a solution from the perspective of softwares from CIMA-Pro is called CIMA-Pro Synergy. And it's a completely new solution that was launched in July. And it allows to use the full power of a very dedicated lifecycle assessment tool in the background of all your other tools that you work with in a company, let's say on an enterprise level with your business system, with your design system, and other sources of data that you can populate an LCA with, and also other interfaces that needs the environmental information to make decisions. So this is a list of everything that's included in CIMA-Pro Synergy. And I think you'll have to come and talk with us in the booth about it. Now, I'm jumping a little bit. I think I'm a bit curious person. I'm super interested in AI and what it can do for us. And I'm looking for what are the opportunities and what are the risks with AI when it comes to the field of LCA. And I'm just in the starting point of this. I've been looking into it for approximately 1 year and working closely with people who are experts in AI. I'm not. But I can clearly see that AI as such is very suitable for life cycle assessment because it's a quantitative method. And I think we have to be very careful to balance between the human perspective and the machine perspective, and somewhere in the middle is where we have an excellent track so that we can use AI as an extension of ourselves rather than letting the machine taking over. I see a big risk when using AI when it comes to life cycle assessment, and that is that we are sometimes a bit corrupted by the metrics. All the data we have, we want to put them into a machine that can produce results for us. It makes us use the data sometimes a bit blindly. Like this picture describes with an airplane coming back from the Second World War, and they were trying to understand results about how to protect an airplane from the damages the airplanes has. But they misunderstood, or they were looking so much for data that they didn't take into account the airplanes that didn't come back. So they were obviously the ones damaged the most. Okay, at Miljogiraff, we have started our own work with AI in 2 different ways. And the first one is to work with organizational LCA. And I think most of you here have heard the word CSRD. So it's Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And it's the European Union asking us to put together information about the most important environmental aspects or sustainability issues in our cooperation. And when it comes to life cycle assessment, that's very interesting because now our knowledge and information is needed for all organizations basically that work with this. And it's a great challenge for many companies to put together an LCA on everything they do and everything they buy. So we have a solution for this, a little bit. We think it's utterly important to start with a holistic perspective on everything in the company. And the only way of doing that is by using generic data. and the generic data about environmental impacts. And in your company, you already have the economic accounts, so it's possible to connect those two environmental data, and then you will have a rough picture of the overall environmental impacts of what you are purchasing, which is the most difficult part. Then what we do is that we use this information to narrow down the list of things that are important, and we use an AI to connect every data point to data points in an LCA model that we have created, so that we can match this in a reasonable amount of time. I think it's very promising, and we are just taking the first steps with this with one rather big company in Sweden. The second thing that we have started to elaborate on is an AI-supported solution for review and verification of environmental product declarations, because that is a very much needed thing. Everyone is asking for EPDs, but they have to be reviewed, and it takes a long time. So we are creating a tool to do this, or to facilitate the process. It will approximately half the time it takes for us. And it's rather straightforward. We're using a large language model, as AI is a little bit like ChatGPT. And then we feed it with the specific information that we have for this system in the EPDs. So that's specific EPDs, the specific life cycle assessment reports, the checklists, and all the standards used in this area. And we think that will be a fantastic resource, because it will take away the bottleneck for EPDs. And it comes with a lot of opportunities for us, obviously. We would like you very much to come to our booth afterwards and discuss the challenges that you have when it comes to sustainability, and maybe the opportunities and risks with AI. So that would be fantastic.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Marcus, for your insightful presentation. Now let's move on to our panel discussion and invite Aleksi and Pirkko to join the discussion. Would you first briefly just say a few words more about how you work with sustainability and environmental analysis?
All right, I'll go ahead. So hello everybody, I'm Aleksi Surakka, and I work at Comatec Group as a senior sustainability specialist. And I started with life cycle assessments first, but now I work with CSRD topics and environmental product declarations as well. I lead our sustainability services at Comatec with a great team.
Yes, hello, my name is Pirkko, Alander, and I work as an environmental analysis manager at Valmet, and I'm reporting in the corporate R&D function, and in the starting creating these life cycle assessments for our products is my main responsibility.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's start with a broad perspective. Now, what would you say, in your experience, is the biggest sustainability challenge in your company or in your industry?
All right, let's go with me again. So maybe I would like to start with the fact that it's very hard to gather all the relevant data that is needed to conduct life cycle assessments. It's all about the data, in my opinion. It's either life cycle assessments or CSRD or anything you want to do with the environmental data. It always goes back to where you're getting the information from and how are you going to use the information. So it's a data question. And of course, if you're gathering a lot of information from various different locations, there's going to be a huge issue in transparency and data quality. So those are pretty much the top issues for me at this moment.
A little bit similarly, I would say the data collection is one of the biggest hurdles, and also the fact that even though that our products have a lot of commonalities, so there are still customer-specific So they are always engineered to the customer specific needs, and therefore they are not exactly the same, or there is no robust bill of material. And also when it comes to the benefit calculations, so the customer use case, which is also dominating the environmental impacts of the life cycle of the product, so that's always more or less completely unique.
Is there, Marcus, something you would like to add? How does it relate with your experiences?
Yeah, maybe I can add it from my perspective as consultant in life cycle assessment. So we work for other companies, and I think as a challenge in my field, it's that the LCA as such is a very powerful tool, and we are sometimes deceived by the strength of the tool. It's a challenge to always focus on sustainable development somewhere in the horizon, where we also address what is actually needed, what kind of products should be produced, and how many of them should be produced.
Thank you. Now let's move on to regulations and reporting. So how do reliable footprint calculations contribute to CSRD reporting? What would you say?
Well, I see in my work that our customers who are already part of the CSRD reporting, and they require more specific cradle-to-gate calculations from our product so that they can improve their own reporting, especially when it comes to the Scope 3 Category 1 purchased goods and services.
Now, I heard you use some terminology, cradle-to-gate. Can you please elaborate a little bit what?
Yes, so it means the product stage from the raw material acquisition until it's ready to leave from the factory gate, and the related emissions to that.
Yes, definitely, just like that. And maybe you have to understand about your product in order to contribute to effective reporting, because if you don't know how your product is being made, you cannot actually report anything. You can always do a lot of guesswork, or you can look at the markets, but that doesn't tell you everything. You have to know how your product is being made, what materials are being used, what kind of energy is being consumed, what kind of manufacturing processes are being included in the whole system in order to effectively report everything.
Did you, Marcus, have something in regard to this CSRD reporting in mind?
The first thing that I came to think of is that it's really promising if everyone has specific data, because then you can build on each other and have much more reliable data in the end. So.
Now, data has been mentioned several times here, and reliable data. So what would you say are the key points to consider in order to deliver reliable, fact-based footprint calculations?
Yeah, that would be the transparency, in my opinion, again. So where the data is coming from, that's the key point. You have to understand that is it recent data, right? So is it from this year or is it from 20 years ago? And if it's from this year, then good. And then, of course, it has to match the thing you are the thing you are assessing at that time.
Yes, and I would maybe raise the point that even though it is important to be very detail-oriented and very specific, so don't get confused with the details, don't get carried away with trying to be too detailed. First studies, of course, they need to be done as accurately as possible, but when you know the big hotspots, then you know where you can, where the impact categories that are relevant, where they are.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to have the overall picture first, so you don't miss the big picture, rather than being completely detailed. But I would also like to add that it's important to document your thoughts about everything so that you can trace it and understand why you put this figure there in the first place.
Thank you. Now let's move to our last question, which is also the theme of the day here at Alihankinta. What are your expectations for artificial intelligence? How can it help, and what answers do you wish to find with AI?
Well, like Marcus, I'm no AI expert. I don't know anything about AI, how it's done, except for LinkedIn posts. I do follow them quite keenly. But then again, I do, as everybody here probably does, I do use ChatGPT to kind of throw ideas around. So if we're talking about sustainability, it's a very wide topic. A lot of different systems we're thinking about. Now, a human mind maybe doesn't catch on to every little detail. So maybe I'm hoping that AI can help you in the future to connect certain dots in the data.
Very good.
Yes, my hopes are quite also data related, in the sense that I hope that maybe AI can at first help us identify the missing data pieces, and hopefully also maybe identify any human errors or something like that that has been done in the model.
Thanks a lot. I hope it will also help us collaborate more in the value chain to fill the gaps of data and understand each other better, maybe. Because sometimes I see when I do life cycle assessment and try to trace data down the line, it's difficult to get data because people are a bit reluctant. They don't know if it's good or bad, so they don't want to say everything. And maybe AI can help us a little bit in that way, so we dare to give data away.
Thank you very much, Aleksi, Pirkko, and Marcus, and thank you to our audience. We'd like to invite you to join the discussion at our stand, B106, right over there. There's a free Sima Pro trial available for 30 days if you wish to try it, and we have a mini workshop where we need lots of input from you, so please come and join. And Aleksi will be at our booth at least for some time today, and probably Pirkko can spare a few minutes, and Aleksi will be there also on Thursday. So do come and visit us and ask all your tough questions from the specialists that we have here. Thank you, and have an amazing day today at Alihankinta.